Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil, and we welcome in Ms. Astrology. How are you today?
Hi, I'm pretty good. How are you?
Doing well. How are you, Aprylete?
Aprylete is great.
Welcome back
Yeah, it's been a minute.
in
Yeah.
your in your third person.
You
Yeah.
know, it's been a minute. Thanks for having me back. Feels good.
Okay, Sybil, you're
Good.
doing something here.
That's good.
We'll take that.
Okay.
We'll take
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. We'll take good. Okay.
Okay.
Ms. Astrology, you're still in transition, huh?
I am in transition, but we're wrapping it up and moving on out of here. And finally, the pressure and the all of the anxiety of selling the home is done. And so now I go to new anxiety of moving into a new home. But this is going to be fun because we're starting from scratch. So
Oh wow.
yeah.
Everything new?
Well, no, I kept a couple of pieces that just meant something to me, like my
Mhm.
dresser and stuff like that. But for the 97% new.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Super exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and my son, this breaks my heart, but I'm happy at the same time, got his first place in his first new car on the exact same day.
Wow.
He had the
Big
keys to his
thing.
apartment and the keys to his car on the exact same day. I'm so proud of him.
Big
I know, but time goes
thing.
by fast. I was like, bro, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be like 8. How are you 20 years old? Where did the time go?
Right.
But
I
yeah.
was just looking at friends of ours, and their daughter is a freshman in college now.
See?
And her mom was showing pictures of, it's National Daughters Day, and
Mhm.
her mom was, she's like, I'm glad she's here. She's not here, that she's at her new school, and showing her on her first day and her younger brother. And I remember all the years of their growing
Aw.
up. I mean, I'm one of those that remember when her mom was pregnant with her, right?
See, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So
The
it's
time
it,
goes by
it
fast, so
really goes
fast.
by quickly. Does time seem to go by quickly for you, Aprilette?
Yes, every
It
day.
does.
Every day. I'm like, slow it down just a tad bit. And then
Right.
to know that like life continues and we evolve, it's just like goodness gracious. Sometimes you feel like you're racing against the clock. Then you have to kind of get back in yourself and just, remain grounded. But yes, time does move very quickly, especially after the pandemic. I feel that we've lost
Mm,
time, honestly,
yeah.
because when I
Yeah.
look back at old pictures, I'm like, oh wow, that was that long ago, but it just seems kind of like yesterday. It's weird.
And speaking of which, Ms. Astrology and Aprilette, you may have seen this. One of our producers, Ahmed, found some photos, and somebody kind of dropped a bunch of photos on Facebook, and they were from our first year on the Tom Dorner Morning Show.
Oh,
It was like,
wow.
oh my goodness,
Oh
who
wow.
Wow.
were those girls? And I do mean girls. Yeah, it was
Right.
like, oh wow, yeah. So I mean, those things really happen. But the other upside of day by day and how things change. Our friend Justice has done an amazing job of cataloging her daughter's days.
Aw.
And every day we get a picture of sweet or pictures of sweet baby True, as I like to call her.
Aw.
And it does something for me every day. It just lifts my spirits and my heart, just to see this little girl. And we were with her not too long ago, and the first time I met her, I had her on my shoulder, and now I'm like,
Now you
carrying
got
her
Yeah.
around. And she's like, put me down,
Aw.
Oh, but she is just, I mean, time is really
Yes.
just appreciate it. And like with
Mm,
with you and your
absolutely.
niece, Aprilette,
Yeah. Like
just
literally when I left home Tuesday. And so when I went to go see her right before I left, I'm like, oh my goodness, the next time I see you, you'll probably be 2 months because she just turned a month. I can't believe like time flies by. I
wow.
can't believe it's been a month already. She was born August
Mhm.
22nd. And yeah, it's already been a month. So I was just like, the next time I see you, you'll be about 2 months. So yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot, and I remember my grandmother saying, just or not my grandmother, Yolanda's grandmother, just keep living,
Just keep
Yeah.
living.
just keep
Mhm.
living.
Mhm.
My
Absolutely,
dad said that a
absolutely.
lot.
Well, I'm glad you're here, Miss Astrology. It is
Yay.
Libra season, and so
Libra
we're going to talk
season.
about that and what all that entails. Very interesting time, though.
Yes.
And you will explain that. Let's talk a little bit about the What You Need to Know newsletter. And Aprilette, I'm just going to ask you just to talk a little bit and just give folks just just your thoughts on this month, and because I do have some thoughts, and I really do want people to take this month seriously. Suicide Awareness Month, right? Suicide Prevention Awareness Month,
Mhm.
and just in terms of what this looks like, because this month we talked about a number of different groups of people who have been affected, veterans and black people, black men, and in particular, just to leave something with people, because now we have a suicide prevention hotline and things like that.
Well, I mean, the first thing I just want to say that came to mind is just you're not alone.
Mm,
Like I think people self isolate themselves a lot. People tend to believe that they're the only one going through their situation. And at the end of the day, we're all living a human experience. So you will find someone that has a story probably mirrored to yours. And honestly, the community and the love and family and friendship and just even the converse, like the connection that you even have maybe with a stranger at a local grocery store or at the gas station or something like that, like you're just not alone. So that's one thing I want to leave with everybody, to know this month you're not alone. And next month, if we could just try to, I know, Sybil, how you like to do the check-in and checkups, just try to check in and check up with your family, your friends, your coworkers, and even people that you haven't spoke to in a while. Just
mhm,
check in on them. And even if you need someone to check in on you, I encourage you to check in on somebody else and just be like, hey, I'm thinking about you. And then that will start the dialogue and the conversation, hopefully. But yeah, this month, definitely Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, all of the things. I think that it's just important to just be mindful of yourself and just others and be
mhm.
kind. This month has been super heavy for me, and one thing that I just had to remind myself is, again, I'm not alone, and then number two, not to self isolate. So I just surrounded myself with family, because this was like a hard time for me this month, dealing with death and new life and things that I kind of never really dealt with together. um
Mhm.
so yeah, just really trying to be mindful. I don't know if that's, I don't know,
That's
but
perfect. No, that really is. I mean, that hits the sweet spot right there, because we don't think about that enough. I know that Ms. Astrology, we have these we have what I call production meetings on Sundays, and I'm not a touchy feely person, like, but I individually I will, but as a group not so much. I will, text people or call individually. But Yolanda, when she started with the meetings, it was like, "How you doing? Tell us, give us, how are you? Tell us the highlight of your week. What did you do?" And kind of that, and I know that our young people really really took to that. I don't have it in me to do it, but when I will ask, how you doing?
Mhm.
Okay, and on to the next
You
one, and
good?
how you
Yeah.
doing? But it is good to be mindful of people, and I'm able to do it with my girlfriends and things like that, um it's sometimes just takes a little bit more or a little extra effort on
Yeah.
one's part to do it. Are you good at that, Ms. Astrology?
I'm finding this very interesting that this month I wasn't aware that it was Suicide Prevention Month, and then the first thing for Aprylete to say is to not self isolate. And the astrologer in me always finds it. But Libra is the sign of partnering and
Hmm.
other people and your relationships, and finding that balance in what you give to others and what you receive from others. Because there are times that we don't got it to give.
Right.
we need somebody to pour into us.
Yeah.
And then also September tends to be, it's Virgo season and Libra season. And Virgo season can be so self-critical, trying to get everything perfect, trying to get everything back in order because we're going back to school. We got to do this. We need to get healthy again. And then here comes Libra season, like, you know what? I gotta focus on this. I gotta do this. But no, we actually, yes, we got to make the adjustments for Virgo season and get back in order. The kids are going back to school. Summertime
Yeah.
is over. However, Libra season is saying, call on your tribe. It's about to get dark earlier. We're all about to
Right.
start dealing with forms of seasonal depression,
Yeah.
less sunlight. It's specifically here, Western tropical, which is astrology I study. But Libra, it's a scale. And scales aren't valuable unless you like put something else on them. So
Yeah.
it's important that we open up that sometimes the value comes from just allowing other people to help or helping someone else. You can't
Yeah.
be an island of your like by
Yeah.
yourself.
Unto yourself. Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we have so much work to do in terms of this country.
Mhm.
And so to get out there to form partnerships or friendships in order to achieve the greater good
Right.
before November 5th, let us say.
Right. I think that we've been taught too much to just worry about ourselves and
Mhm.
just in a sense, yeah, you do want to worry about that. I mean, I am Aries is the first sign, which is Libra's opposite. So yes, you do. However, there's equal value in relationships
Mhm.
and partnering with others.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you for indulging me in that conversation. I appreciate it. Some of the other things we talk about in the What You Need to Know newsletter, love to have you take a look at it as we talk about a number of things, including our friends at Black Voters Matter announced its launch of the 2024 We Fight Back, Get Out the Vote campaign, investing money, time, and capacity building to rally Black voters and to amplify the issues at the heart of the election that will affect Black communities, including education, economic justice, and
Mhm.
healthcare access and equity. They have set out goals to engage 10 million voters across 12 states. They're going to be on the hippest buses in America, and a $15 million investment going over the multi state ad campaign, voter activations, and partner grants. And we thank them for being our partner and also inspired by the good work that they're doing. And people are getting tired of my asking, are you registered to vote? Yeah, are you ready? Because time is coming
Yeah.
up.
Mhm.
Every weekend we're going to have people let people know that your state is now available. And if it's not your state is coming, most likely. Many of the states do have early voting.
Mhm.
But first of all, figure out if you're registered and
Mhm.
don't say, "Well, I voted last time." No, go. We
Right.
have links for you pretty often saying, "Are you registered to vote?" Check those out and go and find out if there is an issue with your voter registration, so that the day that you are going to vote, whether it's November 5th or if you want to go earlier, or if you want to go, and help people who
Mhm.
might need a little guidance or a ride to the polls or whatever. At least you got your stuff together, and then you can help others, right?
That's good. And I do have a question for people who have traveled or who live in different states. What does that look like if they're registered to vote in an opposite state that they're currently residing in?
So that's the important thing. That's what we need to make people understand, that where you are living, where your bills are coming, and sometimes you have to take a one of your electric bills or
Electric bill.
whatever,
Mhm.
yeah, and register in your place. And it might be back at your mama's house. It might be at your brand new apartment.
Mhm.
As a 20-year-old, this will be his first
Mhm.
presidential election
Yep.
that
Yeah.
he'll
And he's
hopefully vote
registered.
in.
Oh, he's registered. I got the cards and everything. I'm responsible for taking me, him, and my mama to the polls.
That's awesome.
There we
And that's
go.
multi-generational thing. That's
It's
very cool.
multi-generational and it's fun to do together. And one thing I love about my mama, she's not gonna let me not take her to vote. Like she's
Oh.
just like, early vote registration started. I could go vote now. You can just take me right now.
You
Let's
can
Oh,
just
let's
take
get
me
this
right
over with.
now. I
I
love it.
Yeah,
love
I mean, we
that.
can just you can go anywhere. It's real quick. We'll say this real quick. I'm like, come on, let's get it over with.
I love your
Uh,
mama.
yeah,
I, I
she's a Leo too. She's like, no, I gotta do this.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, ma'am, we all do. So here we go.
And growing up, I don't know about you, Aprylete, but growing up in the Midwest, it was the fall and the cold and rainy
Mhm,
days of voting, and before early voting opportunities, and going. We lived across the street from a public school, and so I would
mhm,
go across the street with my mom and dad. And with them while they voted, and to understand the process and the importance of it, and that's where I got it from. And I hope that other people will share that, like you and your family are doing that, Ms.
Mhm.
Astrology. And then, Aprylette, there will come a time when Rennie is old enough to vote.
Yeah. And
And
then we
you can,
just pass it down.
yeah, yeah. And like you have with your other nieces and nephews. So it's important that
Yep.
you do that. So the family that votes together, can choke off a bad politician together. I don't know. I'm not good with the rhymes there, um, but this is, and you
Yeah.
can't say it enough. This is the most consequential vote of any lifetime,
Right.
and this is really important that we talk about it. So those are the kinds of things we talk about in the What You Need to Know newsletter. We'd love to have you subscribe. If you would go to sybilwilkes.com, give us your name and your email address. It will not cost you a thing, and just go in and give us that information. And you don't even have to give your birth date if you don't want to, unless you want us to include it in the birthday shout outs that we do every day in the newsletter. But it is absolutely free. And all we ask is that when you get the newsletter every day, to please open it. Check out the stories, see if you like them. If it's something you don't like, something you think we need to improve on, or something that you want to see, a story that you would like us to promote, then just let us know there at sybilwilkes.com, and we're cool with it. So thank you very much. Please and thank you, as they say. Let's move to what's really going on, and that's you, Ms. Astrology. It
Libra
is
season.
Libra season, and as I like to say, what that means.
We're the halfway mark of this astrological year. So
Okay.
we've made it halfway through. Now we're in the fall. We've transitioned from the spring and the summer, now moving into fall and winter. And that's what Libra brings in. And when we start the spring and Aries season, it's very much about what my new goals are. What do I need to do? For me, that's the best time to set visions and goals for yourself is in the spring. Well, now that 6 months have gone by and we've been really working on ourselves and doing all this for ourselves, now it's time to pour more into our partners, our relationships, those we have agreements with. Libra is very much about legal agreements. Fun fact, at one, I don't think you're going to meet a Libra that don't got some money, because this is a sign that has money. There are more Libra billionaires than any other sign.
Oh,
They
wow.
and millionaires, they make the most money. They tend to be the most attractive. They tend to be the most diplomatic and able to get along with others. But they can also be manipulating, and they can
Uh-huh.
also kind of be, it can be a time of year or an energy that's like, okay, I'm partnering with you because this is good for business, or this is just a good decision for this. Whatever the reason, partner, we're more valuable this time of year, and we find more value, we find more opportunities while partnered in working with others
Really?
during this time of year. Mhm.
That's really interesting,
Mhm.
because I don't know any rich Libras. They're always crying broke.
They're lying, I promise. And they also are known as lying Libras. So don't
Ooh.
believe that.
But
Oh,
they holding out.
okay.
They're holding out and they lie. It's not always malicious.
Mhm.
It's often, which you will kind of notice this time of year, is that people don't want to upset anything. Libras don't, they're diplomatic, right? They don't want to argue, they don't want to fight. So they got to slip a little lie in there to just keep everything cool. They'll do it.
Yeah, I had an uncle like that. Yeah, yeah.
Tell
Mm.
you a lie in a heartbeat. I remember when I first started studying or talking about this openly, and one of my coworkers goes, "Oh my God, that's so true." Because when my husband asked me, "Did I buy something?" I say, "No."
That is so good.
No.
Like a little kid. Yeah, that's funny.
So yeah. So it's also a time of year that for me, it doesn't tend to be really eventful. Maybe these last couple Libra seasons, and this one is going to offer a little bit because we're in eclipse season.
Mm.
But I feel like Libra kind of get you all nice and pretty and set up and ready and feeling safe for Scorpio season.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
that's when it gets really intense. That's when we're going to be in voting time. It's an election season. That so Libra's like, okay, yeah, get ready, it's gonna be good. And then you're like, what? Whoa. Yeah, okay, but I'm already here, so here we go.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you find your right tribe, your right partners and agreements during this time, you'll be good for the second half of this year. You'll be better, I'll even say, in the
That's
second
really interesting, because I have a very good friend who has announced that she's going to make some changes and and perhaps in moving and moving in a different direction. So
Yep.
this is that time, and
Right.
finding her tribe.
And
Finding her time.
does this like go with all of the, what am I saying? All of the signs, or is this
Well,
just
we
for
all
Libra?
have Libra in our chart. What people don't know about astrology, we all have all 12 signs. We all have all the planets. We just may not, when we were born, there may not have been any planets in Libra. So for me, Pluto was in Libra, but that's it. So this is cool for me. Like, I'm okay with this time of year. For the most part, I'm good with being partnered, contract, stuff like that. However, some people, if you're maybe an Aries or a Capricorn or Cancer, this could be a difficult time of year for you. So it's really going to depend on your personal chart, but we all are going to feel the impact. Some are just going to feel it more than others, or we're all going to be blessed. Some just more than others,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not one who does well with immediate change, the process and
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting that if you're in that season, sometimes you may not choose to change, but change chooses you, and
The scales were like, yeah, we need some balance here.
Yeah.
And that's just how the universe works. And because Libra is a cardinal sign, a lot of time the energy is forced. You're like, whoa, I wasn't, because it's like, no, it's fall. We're coming in, we're making changes. You're like, I wasn't ready.
Whoa.
Yeah, but that's what happens. And then Scorpio season is like, okay, now that's why you want to get properly partnered and balanced, because once you get to Scorpio season, then it's really hard to make any adjustments from there.
Yeah,
because
you locked in. It's like you just snug it on up. Let's get it.
And especially with the sign of Scorpio. Oh my.
Yeah. I know. Not saying it like that, Scorpio. I have Venus in Scorpio, so I actually really like y'all.
Wow.
You're just so traumatic. Oh yeah, wow is right, because Venus doesn't like to be there, so I can be a lot when it comes to partnering. Oh my God, my poor guy friend, he's like, ma'am. Yeah. So Scorpio can be a lot, and it can be an intense time of year, but Libra's the prep for that so that we can handle it, because Scorpio brings transformation. So right now, get balanced, get partnered, and see the value in others. I think a lot of times we're not taking the time to say, you know what, this is somebody that deserves my effort. This is somebody that deserves my communication, or deserves for me to do better. Everything can't always be about us, which a lot of times is what we're taught.
Right.
Do what's best for you. Well, sometimes we got to do what's best for the collective, for the whole, to balance things out.
And how interesting for you. Did you purposely decide that you were going to move in this season because of what that all?
No, actually, and we went under contract when Mercury was retrograde, and I literally had to extend the contract 3 times.
Wow.
Because we went under contract when Mercury was retrograde. And I remember telling the other realtor, I'm like, we're in trouble. And he was like, what? I said, Mercury's retrograde. It's not going to close on time. And he was like, okay.
Yeah, but no, you knew what you were talking about.
I knew. And then as soon as and then I was like, okay, we're going to have progress. And then he sends me a screenshot of like a mentoring thing he was in that morning with other agents. And they're like, Mercury's direct, things will pick up now. And he was like, oh my God, other people believe that too.
He didn't say believe that crap. He just said believe that.
Yeah, he was like, I believe that too. But then he was like, you were absolutely right. You called it. So
right.
Like I do often.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about some famous Libra folks.
It's funny because when I was pulling them, and I was like, this is one thing you have to say about Libras. They're pretty unproblematic. Like, they don't really give issues. And when I'm looking at the list, of course, we have Madam President Kamala Harris. So Will Smith, he's never really been a problem. We had that little thing come up when,
but that,
and that made sense for knowing his chart, but he's not problematic. Ashanti, she just had her baby, going through such changes and all of that, and always has had a beautiful smile, a great energy. This is Libra energy. All 3 of these people just right off the top are absolutely beautiful, right? Like great appearances, great energy. That's very Libra.
They come out good looking. They come out like, like
for the most part, it's one of the more attractive signs, and because it's ruled by Venus. But then it's also too, they're trying to get along with others, and of course you got to be attractive for that, right? Like you attract more flies with honey.
With honey,
so it's like that kind of energy. But there's negative sides. I'm sitting here bragging on them, but there's negative sides. So
what's the negative? Because we're looking at a woman who is set to make history in the world, right?
Absolutely.
And so for the most part, people see her as very attractive,
Mhm.
and but other people are trying to bring out the ugly in her.
Right.
So there's a balance there,
There's
right?
a balance, and she is one thing I do like about her chart. She's got the Aries moon and the Libra, so she's balanced, born on a full moon, but she also has some Scorpio placement. So I think that it could be good because she knows how to keep the balance, but at the same time, this could be something that where it's like, no, 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 it's time for you to say that thing that you know, because she's got Mercury in Scorpio. That's where secrets are. So she knows somebody's like some things, but she's a Libra. She's like, I don't think I need to do that. That could really upset someone. That could really make things, they don't want to hurt anybody. So I am actually just looking at the astrology. I very much predict that she's going to win. I just hope that she's more open to like being like showing up, like being a boss, like,
Yeah.
you know, you're running the whole country. So at this time, I mean, yes, of course, we got to be diplomatic, but you also got to put your foot down.
Right.
You don't have to say no, thank you. You can just flat out say no.
Right.
Period.
No, thank you. Just
Right.
no.
No.
Just,
Yeah.
and it's a complete sentence.
It's a
Yeah.
complete sentence, right?
Right.
Okay.
That's really exciting, but I wonder, because I do see the, all the things that are the obstacles that are before her right now. But I still, and I don't know if you see this, but I feel as though there are other obstacles that are going to follow this election.
Yes,
When she wins, there's going to be a lot of mess.
absolutely. Next
Bigger
year,
than January 6th, 2021.
absolutely. I've said this. I think that this is going to be a crazy election season. And my concern is, and I've been saying this, that whoever wins is going to be in some kind of danger next year. Pluto is going into Aquarius. We are like fully into Aquarius. It's been in Capricorn since 2008. When we had Obama, right? So now it's moving along. We're going to find another change, another big change. And when it first happens, which is going to be the beginning of next year, whenever a planet first enters a sign, that's when it brings the most like drama with it. So I do think that we're going to see something dramatic, a lot going on next year. And even really moving forward, I think we're going to end up seeing a lot of changes in our entire political system over the next 20 to 40 years, for sure.
Right. Interesting. What do you think, Aprylete?
I was just thinking, hopefully it's good changes, like, because some things need to be shaken up. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not working. So if some changes are supposed to happen and looking on the horizon, I just wish like positive changes, but I know we'll have to, like you said, that scale, that balance.
And they won't feel like it at first because Pluto is the little destroyer. I always call it the boss baby, like of the planets. It's just like it comes to like destroy. It's kind of like, you know, when you clean up and you got to pull everything out first. And everything is a mess.
With it destroying like the infrastructure and destroying everything that you once known. And
and you're throwing things away and you're like, ooh, I didn't even know there was stuff in that corner. Like just, you know, and now the whole house looks a mess just because you try to clean up this one counter.
Right.
And once you get it all done, you got a lot of in it. You're like, ooh, that looks better.
Yeah.
And I found whatever I was looking for the whole time. So.
Or I didn't even know it was lost.
Right. That is.
But you have said that you know that we were going into a period where we needed to clean out and to really and develop our own community and grow our own food and do all of that.
All of those things. And that's Aquarius. I also think we're going to see a lot of change in technology and the control of technology and AI and all of those things, because that's what Aquarius rules. But this is the thing, that it's not going to start off like this. We're all going to say AI is taking our jobs. AI is doing all this. But what we're going to realize is AI is doing the mundane things that we're not even created to do anyways. We're not supposed to be worrying about all that. We're meant to tend to our families, tend to our homes, tend to our bodies, our communities. Let AI do those things, but it's going to take a little while first for us to adjust and see, oh, I'm actually more valuable not working, not exchanging time for dollars.
How very interesting. That's really okay. So we have those 3 people or 4.
We have Snoop Dogg is a
I'm really excited because he did such a great job during the Olympics, and now he's a judge on The Voice. I think this is really a new season, a new chapter. Not even a new chapter, a new book for him.
It's a new book. This is like the evolution. This is like a whole new Snoop Dogg, but he's still Snoop Dogg because he's still walking at the Olympics.
Right.
So like you have to love him. But one thing I'll say too, if you want to be have a really nice hosted event, have a Libra do it. And he was like the host of the Olympics, right? Everybody was loving him. I saw this tweet, and the guy said, "My mom just called me to tell me how much she loves Snoop Dogg, and I had to remind her that she grounded me for buying his record."
That's too funny.
That is great.
Yes, but
I know they sent Kelly Clarkson home because she wasn't bringing anything, and then they realized what gold they had with Snoop, and then he was just everywhere doing it, and never disappointed. Never disappointed. Wow,
I love him. And then some of my favorites. One of my favorite rapper, I'm giving my age, y'all, is Lil Wayne. He's also a Libra, not an attractive one, but he's rich. We're not gonna act like he's an attractive one, but I love him and he's rich. And if you notice too, and Will Smith also, as performers, and Donald Glover is also a Libra.
Yeah.
They're very good with words and like word play and those kind of things. And I've heard like through a lot of interviews and stuff that there are a lot of rappers and people in the music industry who consider Will Smith one of the best with wordplay. We didn't get to see so much of that,
right?
But that he was really, really good with those kind of things. And if you read his book, you're like, it seems like he is good with words. So Libra is very logical. They speak well, but at the same time, you got to beware because they're like feeding you this, sweetness. It's like sweet little lies, those kind of things. So you're like, oh, that tastes good. And then you wake up in Scorpio season like, that was a lie.
Not wake up Scorpio season. And here you are.
But also Toni Braxton and Serena Williams are also Libras, and again Naomi Osaka, again unproblematic, just
very
beautiful, very sweet, very beautiful, and it's just really the energy of this time of year. I love Libras, even though they be lying. Lisa Ray, Jermaine Dupri.
Wow.
All right, Michael. Toni Braxton. MC Light. There's another one good with the words, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, she's one of my favorites. ASAP Rocky is one too.
He is.
Yeah, I love him.
I love him too, and I love that his sense of style and fashion, and that he is just always has this big, beautiful, genuine smile.
Yeah, right.
Yes, he really does. Yeah, he's another one as well. So there's a few of them out there. There's quite a few. They all got money, and they, for the most part, are unproblematic. Now, if you got one in your life that don't got those, they might just have the sun in Libra, and everything else is in Virgo, or I'm not gonna say Scorpio because they tend to hold on to money too, but Virgo's like all over the place. So I can see that.
That's funny. Who else did I see? Was Nick Cannon? Is he
he's a Libra as well. I mean, they finding him attractive, huh?
No, sure.
And he got some money, so I mean,
absolutely.
He fits the mold,
and it's crazy.
He really does.
As controversial as him with all these. We still kind of support him, right? Like we still,
because he's not really problematic. Like outside of just what he does in his personal.
Yeah, he's not, fertilizing these plants and then going off and letting them die.
He's not saying crazy things. Like, he's
real chill. Yeah.
Wow,
they can be. Yeah.
Interesting. Now T.I. is one, but he recently got a big settlement.
$17
million. $70 million or something.
Yep, that they sued the toy company for the likeness of the OMG girls. I saw that. Yeah. Very much makes sense. Libra's out. That's what I said. Yeah, I feel like they're winning right now if properly partnered, though. So for the right reasons too, because Libra partner with you because they like the money, but that can't always be the reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. That's interesting. So, what's the best piece of advice you can give to a Libra person that may be watching us today as we're going on? Because you're talking about partnering, you're talking about, getting your stuff together before you go into a Scorpio season. Is that the thing to remember?
Right now, we're going to have one more eclipse, and we're going to get ready to wrap up eclipse on this Aries Libra axis. Okay. So if you're a Libra, I would say right now that there are likely relationships that have been coming up that are not good for you and not healthy for you and that are toxic and that you have not let go of for one reason or another. And this is the time. This is something that's been like, this, Libra. I'm not telling you something you don't know. You know exactly what relationship I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's been coming up for you. And now it's like, are you going to keep it or are you going to be stuck with this for a while and you're not going to like what you stuck with? So during this time, it's okay to say this partnership is not working for me. And Libra is one of the least selfish signs. So it's like, this is not working for me and I would like to move on. That is the most important things for Libras to do during this season right now, is to make sure that they are properly partnered.
Is that in a familial sense too?
Absolutely. Whoever you have an agreement with, a public partnership with, like the public knows you do business together. The public knows that you're in a relationship together, or you've invested in something together, or you're working on something together. It's public. It's not secret.
Right.
Whatever that is the relationship that is in that realm, is where the relationship that's likely going to need to be changed or ended. Or transformed in some kind of way.
Ooh, gonna see. I didn't go get my popcorn ready. Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It also makes me wonder with Kamala, if there's somebody on her team she needs to fire.
Like, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, and that's gonna be easy for her. Yeah, and so that could be something that's going on with a lot of Libras right now, that they're finding they're having to restructure their teams.
Right.
And fire
people. That's definitely and we'll move into trending and talking about that. But that's definitely, people like, they get her to the finish line. She, finishes first, and then comes the time like, well, I'd like to stay with. No, I think that our season is done.
Our race is over. Yep. And that's okay. A reason, a season, or a lifetime. People, not everybody has to be around forever. Some people just come into your life for a reason. Right. They came to get you back on course this way, and then they're out. Let them go. You don't gotta hold on to them.
That's what my mom used to say with all 4 of her husbands. So, that's the truth. So let's move to trending and some of the things that are happening. Hurricane Helene is now an extremely dangerous Category 4 storm. Wow. I don't know and it's roaring towards Florida.
Didn't this come up last year? Last year when we did this right at Libra season, and I made I picked it up then. I said, I think because the sun is moving into the air sign, that we tend to get like a heavy hurricane around this time. And here we are again, noticing that exact same thing. So
exactly
something to be worried about. Yeah.
And people, kind of remember last year, and I'm wondering if they are really taking heed, because they're talking about, 120 mile an hour, or actually even more than that, as a Category 4. As it roars towards Florida's coast. And the National Hurricane Center says that, they are tweeting about the fast increase, and the forecast has shown that it's approaching landfall tonight, and the sustained winds could be upgraded, and it has reached the Category 4 strength. So winds are 131 to 155 miles an hour.
Oh, that's scary.
And the type of water that will bring on shore. Talking to our friends in Atlanta, they have poor drainage, but they already had a storm ahead of this, and that was yesterday, and now they have this coming. So by tomorrow, Saturday, will have moved up into Georgia, and unless it slows down, but it's moving at a pretty fast clip.
Yeah.
But they're just telling people, do what you got to do. I was calling friends of mine saying, what are you all doing? And because this is going to be a big mother of a storm.
Yeah.
And, well, I'm working. I can't get away. I can't go get my supplies, or,
you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? That's scary.
And their kids in school, because it's Tallahassee is right in its sights. That's exactly where they're predicting it's going to happen. And Florida State and Florida A&M universities have canceled their classes, but opened their doors to students and Tallahassee residents. The American Red Cross was using FAMU's Lawson Center on campus as shelter open to the general public. That's the black school. Florida State, there, if you're registered there at Florida State.
Oh, family's like, come on, fam.
Yeah.
Literally.
Exactly.
That's how we do.
I like it. How is Florida still around? And I don't mean it like that, but they take some major storms.
Yeah.
And it's just like, first, like, people actually y'all live there? I'm ready to go north in Houston, and we don't get these kind of impacts. So I feel for the state of Florida and just anyone dealing with this, specifically if you can't leave. What if you got the finances?
And there are people who, just say, well, we just have to batten down the hatches and hope that we make it through. But just like people in New Orleans, when they have that and they can't afford to leave, And that's where family and friends come in. And if you can make a donation in the aftermath of this, please do, because there are people who are very dependent upon, the generosity of others to make it
Right,
through this
during this
storm.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I was
Wow.
very lucky when I lived in Florida. I worked in Florida for a couple of years, and every time the hurricanes always worked around
Mhm.
us. And it wasn't until I lived
Wow.
in Charlotte and 200 miles in, and the hurricane came in and just knocked everything out. And my mom, my God bless my mother, she's like, "Do you have to go to work tonight?" It's like, "Yeah, I got to go tell people not to get out in this."
Right.
You know,
Right.
and
Wow.
that's the real of it. That is just the real. But Mother Nature is just an amazing thing.
She can't
Just
be
an
messed with.
amazing.
That's what I tell
I'm
people
telling
all
you.
the time. She cannot be messed with. I'm looking at the comments and they're saying people were driving over a bridge trying to get out of there, like they're trying to
Yeah,
buy.
and that's the other thing, filling up your cars with gas, trying to,
Right.
and they open up the roadway so that, one way out, one way in and one way out. It's just one way out
Like,
now.
out.
Yeah.
Yep, I
Yeah,
remember when they did that in Houston.
yeah, yeah. So please be safe. Please, please, please. Over 1,000 U.S. flights were canceled by early today. Anyone whose flight was canceled is eligible for a refund under the Department of Transportation rules, and federal laws do not require airlines to compensate travelers for delayed flights, but carriers have committed to various degrees of compensation for significant delays within their control. So if you have a flight, they canceled it, you should be able to get your money back and get your money. Don't ask, don't necessarily say
No
I
flight
want the
credits. Get
credit.
your money back.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. That's
Mhm.
Mhm.
right. That's right. Speaking of Vice President Kamala Harris, during a speech at the Economic Club in downtown Pittsburgh, she presented her Opportunity Economy Plan. This is where she's going to give $6,000 a year to a family the first year of their child's life. That she's talking about for small businesses, up to $50,000 tax credit for
Nice.
them if you're starting a small business, and for people who are going to be buying their first homes. All of these things, she said, Americans must choose between two fundamentally different paths. For our economy, I tend to grow America's middle class. Donald Trump is only interested in making life better for himself and
Mm.
people like himself, the wealthiest of Americans. And she provided details of the plan. She sat down for an interview with an economist, a journalist, and talked about these things: home buyer subsidies, small business breaks, and federal ban on price gouging. That's really important
Wow.
for
Yeah.
That
those of us,
is.
going to the grocery store every day and looking at these prices, since the pandemic has been over for 3 years, and
Right.
still the prices are still continuing to go
Ridiculous.
up.
Ridiculous.
So it'll be interesting to see. Are you all seeing any kind of relief at the grocery stores?
Not at the grocery stores, but I'm seeing some at the gas pump.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
So yeah, that's a little bit better. Yeah, groceries. Ugh.
Yeah.
Groceries are still the same. I went to Puerto Rico.
I don't know how to eat.
I was there for like 2 days, and the grocery store, ridiculous.
It's like super high priced.
Yes, like $15. I think butter was like 11.97. Like it was ridiculous.
Oh
Oh,
my
it
Is
was
that
so
pesos? No, I'm kidding.
no, in American US dollars. Like
Right, I'm
I
kidding.
went to
right.
San Juan and the groceries. We went. We had like an Airbnb, so we wanted to
Uh-huh.
grab, just some food. And oh my goodness, it was ridiculous. I'm like, God, is that maybe because of number one, inflation, and maybe I guess shipping things over? I don't
And,
know,
Yeah,
but
and I think that's a combination of those things, Aprylite. I think it
I
is
have
the
a question.
economy, inflation, and gouging of prices
oof,
for people, and
So,
and difficulty in getting those items to Puerto Rico.
oof.
but if there was
And she'll come back.
Okay, I'm like, is it her? Or is that me? Because normally it's me.
Yeah. Well, we've had some internet issues up this way today, but I think it is her. So we'll keep going, and
Okay.
she'll come back to us. Um, the she's also talking about investing in future technologies such as artificial intelligence, clean energy innovation, and manufacturing.
that's
And those aren't things that are on Donald Trump's wish list.
He
Um,
doesn't have a plan for any of it.
well, he doesn't seem to. He has. He says he has ideas.
Ideas, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Ideas, ideas,
yeah,
ideas.
yeah,
What,
yeah.
what are these ideas, sir?
But he was in North Carolina over the weekend, and he said he would be calling on Congress to pass legislation banning sanctuary cities.
What does that mean?
So there are cities that will accept people coming into from like when they come across the border, and then they will be bused to sanctuary cities like
Mm.
usually where all the black mayors are,
They just drop
Chicago,
them off.
DC, yeah, and New York City, where the black Democratic mayors are. They've been sending them to those places. He said, as soon as I take office, we will immediately surge federal law enforcement to every city that is failing, which is a lot of them, to turn over criminal aliens, and we will hunt down, capture every single gang member, drug dealer, rapist, murderer, and migrant criminal that's being illegally harbored in these sanctuary cities. He said this in a rally. But this sense of hatred is really concerning to me, especially what they did with the Haitians in
Mhm.
Springfield, Ohio.
Mhm.
There's a Louisiana, and Miss Astrology, want to get your take on this. There is a congressman in Louisiana. He's a Republican. His name is Clay Higgins, and he had to retract comments he made about Haitian immigrants in a social media post. He said, LOL, these Haitians are wild, eating pets, voodoo, nastiest country in the Western Hemisphere, cults, slapstick gangsters, but damned if they don't feel all sophisticated now, filing charges against our president and our VP. All these thugs better get their mind right and their asses out of our country before January 20th.
Wow.
If that's not a call
Wow.
for angry action, I don't know what
Yeah.
it is. Um,
Wow.
he said he was kidding. He did
No,
delete.
you wasn't kidding.
He definitely is not kidding. But he deleted the post, and
Everywhere.
there is, he's talking about all these people, and what happened was a Haitian organization. We talked about this yesterday. A Haitian organization filed suit against
Yes, they should.
Donald Trump
Mhm.
and against Vance, JD Vance, because of all of the things that they brought on the Haitian citizens of Springfield, Ohio. The bomb threats, closing
Mhm.
of the schools, of people, their neighbors turning on them, and accusing them of these horrible things.
Yeah, it's like
Uh,
defamation, right? Like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
like, yeah.
yeah.
Those are some really harsh words. And I think the thing about Donald Trump is in the things that he's saying, he knows exactly what words
Oh,
to
for sure.
use
Mhm.
Yep.
to trigger fear and to trigger like people, we got to take action. We got to do like these things when they're know that this is not what this is about. It's very concerning. I try not to watch that like too much of that kind of stuff, but
Yeah,
I know that there are people that do and are. So that's why it's like, yeah, they should be sued for defamation. I mean,
yeah. Absolutely.
literally
And
got on stage.
criminal charges against them, because not that Donald Trump is unfamiliar to criminal charges,
Right.
but they have to, because they purposefully
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah.
They
Karen
lie.
Allen said, but wasn't Melania an illegal immigrant?
And both his first two wives are well, the first and the last one were illegal. Only Marla Maples was a born in
America.
America.
Right.
It's crazy.
Right. So I wonder, it's funny because if a regular employee were to tweet something like the statement that Clay Higgins said, they would get fired.
Yeah.
Right.
How can we fire this man? Like,
Right. Yeah, and it's up to his constituents to fire him and to
right,
not vote for him. But he's probably in one of those conservative white districts where they like what he's saying. Now,
Mhm.
the Congressional Black Caucus did call to censure him for his comments, and they introduced a resolution to censure him on the floor of the United States House, referring to Haiti as the nastiest country in the Western Hemisphere, denigrating Haitians with vile and demeaning terms, goes against a foundational principle about our country, that America is a nation of immigrants where we are all welcome. And every member of Congress must be clear that we need to eliminate hate in all its forms. That's you can't say it any better than that. And the hate, the level of hate that is rising with every one of these comments, and knowing.
that's
Well,
anger.
and JD Vance said, "Well, I'm not gonna try to change it, because that's what my people believe." Well, you're
Right.
a leader.
Wow.
You're a leader,
Lack thereof.
and lack thereof. Yep. So as we come to this, I did want there are a lot of other stories I did want to talk about, but today was just an incredible day for the mayor of New York City.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, they're asking in the comments. I'm like, yeah, we're
Yeah,
going to talk about him. I'm not getting off of here without
yeah.
talking about him.
No, definitely. For the very first time, the mayor of the sitting mayor of a city of the size of New York was indicted, and Mayor Eric Adams will have to go tomorrow, where they'll read the charges against him. But he has been. It's quite a scheme. If this is true, and he is innocent until proven guilty,
Right.
but if it's true, this is something that's been going on for, according to the U.S. District Attorney, or the U.S. Attorney, I should say, this has been going on for 10 years.
Wow.
And this is a scheme that he's been working with people such as the Turkish government, Turkish nationals, in which they have wined and dined him. They've given him money, and he has had them, according to the district attorney, they have wined and dined him. They've given him money, and they have put the money in the form of campaign contributions, so that they have a matching fund for
Wow.
contributions. So
Oh,
they amassed, with the contributions that were given by these nationals, foreign nationals. They have amassed a $10 million war chest.
Wow.
And the thing that, traveling and all of this, and
mhm.
so he was promising them that he would help them get a Turkish consulate, a
Mm.
skyscraper in New York, and they were having trouble because they weren't passing the safety test.
Mm.
And so they said, you're going to have to do something if you want, to continue to do business with us. And according to the U.S. attorney, he got the not the fire commissioner, but a member of the fire department to sign off on
Oh,
the building, which is incredibly dangerous. You
mhm.
think about all the things that can go wrong, but sign off on it and say, "Yep, you got it. Move your people in."
I'm looking at
Ooh,
his birth chart, and
Yes.
uh-oh.
slick
Uh-huh.
stuff.
So, and I'm looking at his birth chart. He's a Cancer, and so
Mm,
Libra season is not fun for Cancers. I just
mm.
said that, right? So things
Uh-huh.
come out about your partnerships, right? Your agreements, these agreements you've made. And at first, I was like, "Oh, he has a Sagittarius moon. That's a lucky moon. He might be okay." Until you told me he was dealing with foreigners,
Mhm.
because Sagittarius loves foreigners, and they love foreign countries and foreign lands and those kind of things. So once you told me he had an agreement with them, I'm like, "Uh-oh." That's the bad side of Sag. Like if
Mm.
you're sending them on trips and doing
Really
like fun things
luxury
like that,
living. Yeah, and
really
travel.
luxury living, Sag will do it. Like they're with the mess if that's what you're offering. Specifically, if it's either a foreigner or an opportunity for like a higher level education
Mhm.
or like that kind of thing, Sag is down. They're like, yeah, okay, if I gotta do a couple things that I'm not necessarily proud of in order to take that trip or have something abroad
Wow.
or something like that, they'll definitely do it. So looking at this, it's like, uh-oh, it doesn't look so good. And then also Jupiter is in Cancer. Next year, Jupiter goes in Cancer and Jupiter expands things, right? And
Mm.
just brings it
Oh,
out.
wow.
So
He in trouble.
I would highly recommend, if he's gonna make any kind of deal, he's gonna need to do it the early part of next year or
Right.
even now. But once Jupiter goes into Cancer, he's not looking good at all.
And it's like a spider with a lot of tentacles and the
Yeah.
webs and everything, with
Mm-hmm.
people that he had in his administration. And I was trying to think, when they when they were following and they were going into the home of a campaign fundraiser, and what was the deal with Turkey and all this? I didn't have any idea. Well, it goes back many years, his relationship with foreign nationals, especially in Turkey, and as well as the fire department and all of this. And the fact that they went in and got everybody's phones. He he had to go and get another phone, and they went in this morning into
And got
Gracie
that
Mansion
phone.
and got all of his phones. Yep, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah. This chart does not look good for him.
He's in
no,
trouble.
He's in trouble. Mhm,
yeah,
I think so. And if he shouldn't want to fight it either, he should just go ahead and step down, like quietly go away, do whatever you can do. Because if you drag it out and he lets you
Mm.
Jupiter get into Cancer, he's in trouble. He's super in trouble.
yeah. A lot of
Mm.
people are calling for him today, and when he was having the press conference saying, "Resign, go, just
Go.
just
That's
go."
his best bet. If I was his astrologer, I'd be like, yes, go.
Okay. Well, if you were an astrologer,
right now. Yeah.
you would have said, don't get involved with the foreign national.
I would have definitely told him not to, but you can't really tell a Sagittarius what to do. So a Sag moon, he would have just kept it a secret and did it anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I was like, I could have told you.
I told you.
I could have told you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He says he's not going to resign. But it might not be his decision, because the governor does have a part in that too. She could assign somebody else, or nominate someone else.
She should.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's end with this entertainment story. Are either of you Bridgerton fans?
Yes.
Did you watch that show?
I watched the first season and I did not watch the second season. Is it the third season now?
Well, it is, but this is about people who also enjoy Bridgerton, and they pay good money for a Bridgerton type extravaganza in Detroit. And they paid hundreds of dollars to recreate Bridgerton with the costumes and the music and the dancers and all of that. And it turns out they got ripped off.
I heard about this.
Turns out that they got really ripped off. And this is a case where they are now suing this company. They said it was a scam, this Bridgerton themed ball in Detroit, organized by a local event management company. The ball promised an evening of elegance, classical music, and a chance to win a $2,000 prize for the best dressed attendee. However, reality set in, and that's exactly what they did not get. They said attendees, some of whom paid up to $300 for a premium Duke and Duchess package, expected a lavish event with valet service, dinner, and live music. Instead, they were greeted with undercooked food, no dancing, minimal decorations. The classical music was a single violinist playing in a corner, and the dancer was a pole dancer.
Oh my God. And then how was there no dancing? That was so integral in the show.
That was their
those dances. And then how it was like classical music, today's classical music.
Yeah.
Like it was like the songs on the radio, but done in the classical. They could have killed it. They could have really promoted their event, all of that.
The Harmony Club, where the event took place, clarified they were not involved in organizing the event. They were just the event space. In a statement, they emphasized that while they provided support for events, the planning and execution are entirely responsibility of the event promoters. And that was Uncle and Me, LLC. A company behind the event took responsibility for the debacle and issued an apology. They acknowledged the event didn't quite meet expectations and cited organizational challenges as a cause for the issues, while they did not immediately confirm if refunds would be offered. Oh, the hell they will be.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Disputing charges on their credit cards.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
wow.
Buyer beware.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and switch that name, Unc.
Unc and Me, LLC.
Unc and Me, LLC. No way. What did they expect?
Nobody said that's
weird.
Sound right. That's not Bridgerton-like at all. Queen Charlotte Enterprises, maybe, but not Unc and Me.
Right.
All right, we're gonna close.
Charlotte was pretty good too. Have you seen that?
I have, yeah.
It's really good too.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to close out with the jewel. Be intentional about creating healthy boundaries to protect your mental and emotional well-being. That goes out as a part of our conversation today, as well as people who are in the Libra season. getting ready for Scorpio season. Thanks, ladies. I really appreciate you. Aprylete, we'll continue to keep you lifted up. And I wish you all the happiness, Ms. Astrology, in your new home.
Thank you. We're excited, yeah. So next time I'll be in my home next month when we do this.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Be well, everybody. See you soon.
Bye.
Aloha.